Now we've covered a few core methods so far to help us handle dictionary elements, but there are 3 other useful methods I want to share with you, all of which do a very similar thing. They help us obtain either all the keys at once, all the values at once, or all the items at once, i.e. both the keys and values. So let's see them in action. We'll start with the dictionary that we're familiar with, and we're then going to access the items method on the my_dict variable. So we can put my_dict, we can then place a dot, and then we can put items followed by a set of parentheses. When we run this, we get the following returned. Now if I was to place this inside of the type built-in function, you can see that we have an object of the dict_items type, which is a set-like object. So what can we do with this? Now if we think about it, as we can see in the previous result, we simply have a set of tuples inside of a list. So if we were to use the list built-in method at this point and wrap the my_dict.items method inside parentheses, we have now converted our dictionary into a list, and we've seen this in a prior video. So nothing new here. But how do we access just the keys? Well, we can use the keys method. So we can put my_dict.keys, and this brings back the following. So you can see here we have a list of the keys in our dictionary, but the object is of the type dict_keys. So we could pass this into the list built-in function, but this will simply turn this list of keys into a list object. And unsurprisingly, we have one final method, which is the .values method, which does the exact same thing, but this time it pulls back the values from the dictionary in list form, but it's in an object called dict_values. So we could once again pass this into the list built-in function to obtain a list of these values. Now obviously once we have a list object, we can use all the methods that we've seen in the list section to now carry out any transformations that we want to. Now I just want to introduce a concept which we will cover in much more detail later in the course when we cover control flow, but it's the concept of looping. So these methods that we've just gone through come in very handy when we want to access all elements of a dictionary. So please don't worry about the syntax that I'm using here, just try to follow along with the concept. So if I start by typing for value in, and then place my_dict.values, what this will do is take every single value that it observes in the my_dict.values object. And if we print the value that's observed, you will see that we iterate through the dict values object and we print the value to the screen. So I'm able to access all of the values individually on which we could perform certain logic. Now if I was interested in the keys, I could simply switch the word values for keys, and then we iterate through each of the keys. Finally, if I wanted to iterate through all of the items, I could change this method to be items, and then we print the items, i.e. the tuple representation of the key and value, to the screen. Now we will cover the concept of looping and the syntax required in much more detail in the section where we discuss control flow. But for now, you can take away that a dictionary has items, and an item has a key and a value. We are able to iterate through a dictionary and get all the items, all the keys, or all of the values at once if desired, and the dictionary methods discussed here will help us do this. We will see these methods again later in the course, but hopefully this gives you an idea as to how these methods could come in handy.